Humans have walked on the moon. Robots have reached Mars. Satellites map distant planets. Telescopes look billions of years into the past. And yet, much of the deep ocean remains unseen. This is not said metaphorically, it is meant literally. Large parts of the seafloor have never been closely explored. Some regions have only been mapped in broad outline. Some creatures appear once and are never seen again. This is not because the ocean is far away, it is because the deep sea is hostile in a way space is not. The deep sea is dark, crushing, cold, and unimaginably vast. The strangest thing is not that the deep sea feels alien or far away in a distant galaxy. It is that it is still here, on Earth, beneath us. The deep ocean begins where sunlight ends. Below that threshold, the world changes completely. There is no dawn, no horizon, no blue water fading into light, only darkness and pressure. Pressure is the real barrier. For every 10 meters of depth, pressure increases. At the deepest parts of the ocean, it becomes extreme. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure is more than 1,000 times greater than at sea level. That means every square inch of a vehicle must survive forces that would crush ordinary submarines instantly. This is why exploring the deep ocean is not like diving deeper. It is more like visiting another environment entirely, one where human bodies cannot survive, where machinery fails easily, and where every mission is expensive, slow, and uncertain. People often say we know more about space than the ocean. That is not strictly true in every technical sense, but the statement survives for a reason. We understand some distant bodies more clearly than parts of our own seabed. We have global maps of the Moon and Mars at remarkable resolution. By contrast, much of Earth's seafloor has only been mapped in broad, low-detail form. The deep ocean is not hidden by distance, it is hidden by water. Water blocks light, interferes with communication, makes movement difficult, and turns simple surveying into a major engineering problem. The deep sea is one of the last places on Earth where the absence of data is still normal. That is why every expedition carries genuine uncertainty. Not just about what will be found, but about what the environment itself will allow. The deep sea should, at first glance, be almost empty. No sunlight means no photosynthesis. No photosynthesis means no obvious food chain. And yet life is there, not only surviving, but adapting in extraordinary ways. Some deep-sea animals create their own light. This is called bioluminescence. They flash, glow, lure, signal, and vanish in darkness. Some use light to hunt, some use it to hide, some use it to communicate. Others live near hydrothermal vents, where chemicals from Earth's interior support entire ecosystems. These communities do not depend on sunlight at all. They depend on chemistry. This changed how scientists thought about life itself. Because if ecosystems can flourish without sunlight here, then perhaps life elsewhere in the universe does not require Earth-like conditions either. That is one reason the deep sea matters far beyond Earth science. It further stretches our understanding of biology itself. Part of the deep sea's power comes from appearance. Its creatures do not simply seem unusual, they seem invented. Transparent bodies, needle teeth, expandable jaws, eyes adapted to almost no light, bodies built to float, drift, or ambush. Some fish carry their own glowing lures. Some jelly-like organisms seem almost unfinished. Some animals look delicate but survive immense pressure. The deeper humans looked, the less familiar life became. This is why the deep sea so easily attracts the language of monsters. But the reality is more interesting than fear. These creatures are not unnatural. They are exquisitely adapted. What looks bizarre to humans is often simply what evolution produces when light disappears, pressure rises, and energy becomes scarce. The deep sea feels alien because it reminds us that life does not need to resemble us to succeed. it would be easy to treat the deep ocean as a fascinating side world. Remote, unrelated, a place for documentaries and strange imagery. But the deep sea matters directly. The ocean regulates climate, stores heat, moves carbon, drives major planetary systems. Cables carrying global internet traffic cross the seabed. Fisheries depend on marine systems that connect shallow and deep environments. And the deep ocean may contain still undiscovered biological compounds with medical value. There is also a growing interest in deep-sea mining. That raises a difficult problem. How do humans decide what to do with an environment they still barely understand? The history of exploration is full of places exploited before they were understood. The deep sea may be the latest version of that pattern. That is why knowledge matters here. Because ignorance in a remote environment is still ignorance. And distance does not protect what is damaged. Space is vast, but it is conceptually simple. Vacuum, distance, radiation, cold. The deep ocean is different. It is crowded with unknowns. It hides terrain, chemistry, biology, and pressure in one place. It is active, living, and still changing. It is not empty, it is full. That may be why it feels more alien than space. Not because it is farther away, but because it is so close and still so unknown. There is something especially unsettling about mystery beneath your own world. A hidden environment on your own planet feels stranger than a distant one, because it suggests that Earth itself is less familiar than we like to believe. The deep sea does not just tell a story about oceans, it tells a story about human attention. We are drawn to what we can easily imagine. The moon became a symbol, Mars became a destination. The deep sea remained below the surface, harder to see, harder to sell, harder to turn into myth. And yet it may be one of the most important frontiers we still have. Not because it promises conquest, but because it resists it. It forces patience, precision, and humility. It reminds us that progress is not just reaching farther. Sometimes it is understanding what has been beside us all along. The deep sea is not another planet, it is part of this one. But it still feels alien, because it sits beyond ordinary human experience. Darkness, pressure, and distance have kept it hidden, and what we do find there often seems to challenge our idea of what Earth is supposed to look like. And perhaps that is the real lesson. The most unfamiliar place we know may not be in space at all. It may be beneath our own feet, under miles of cold, black water, waiting to remind us how much of this planet remains unknown. Join us every Sunday for deeper stories, bigger questions, and long-form explorations that go beyond the short videos. Because knowledge doesn't stop at 60 seconds.
Thanks for watching. This is 60-second knowledge now extended. Because curiosity doesn't stop at 60 seconds. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok.